Alright, in this video we'll see how I have created the filter for the furniture shop. Let's say you have a furniture shop and you have target audience of age group kids, adults and seniors, and you have a furniture where it's divided into the materials called wood, metal and fabric, and when delivering either it's assembled or it's you have to assemble, so it's yes or no. And there is a price range. The worth of furniture, you have the maximum worth is 60,000, and based on that you do a filter. Now let me just show you what it does. Now I want to select the furniture for senior, so it's for my grandparents. So here is the furniture for my grandparents. It's and along with that I can see what fabric it is, what material it is. It's fabric. What color it is? Yes, it's brown. And what are the dimension? So this is the dimension. Now if I have changed my mind and I'm looking for the cupboard. So I'll just click on adults and look for apply, and you click on apply, it will give you a filter. Now at present I have just shown 4 per page. What if I want to see more? I have to click on this pagination and you'll find more details here. Now what I need is, I have these variety, but I want to filter down with the price. I want the price to be like below 20,000. Click on apply and the product would be filtered for adult and the price range is below 20,000. So these 3 products are available right now. Along with that, I want to select only the wood, the material wood. I can just type wood, and you see there is a wood option. You click on it and click on apply, and you will find for age group adult with material wood, and the price range is below 20,000. This is the only product that is available. So this is how the filter is going to work. This is the business use case. Now let's look at the technical point. So here what are we going to learn? Here the first and foremost thing, we have used the combo box, or you can say the searchable drop down. So here these are the drop downs. You can see I can type it, and based on that it would get filtered. So here this is the addition to our this plugin tutorial, which is episode number 22, of course. We have implemented the searchable drop down. So I want to type metal, it's available, yes. So along with that, now let's look at the wide angle. From wide angle, what are the things that we are going to learn? Micro level, we are going to implement in this particular video. Select box, and from the wide angle, what are the things that we are going to learn? We are going to see how to add these filter. So these filter are coming from meta field. I hope you understand what this meta field is. This is a product post type, and here all the details are just imported, and you can see over here I have age group, I have material, I have color, I have assembled, yes or no type, and we have length, width and height. So these are custom field. These data are getting filtered over here. So this is the first thing. And the second thing is, we are going to see how to create this card for each product. So this is the image which comes from the featured image, and this is the title. Of course we will see the title over here, and these data are the information about this particular product, which we would be getting it from the meta box. In WordPress term it's meta box, and in regular term it's called custom field. And if you want to view this particular product, you can click on view more. So I'm not getting into view more because it's the totally different page. As of now, in this particular series, we'll just focus on how to beautify the shop page. So to be more technical, archive-product.php page. And this is the second. The first one is the filter, the second one is the beautification of cart, and the third one is we'll see how to create the pagination. So you can see beautiful working pagination. Previously you would have seen when we are in the page 2, and if you apply filter it won't work, but this time it would work. So I have rectified it, and now this is the fully functional WooCommerce page which is ready to implement once you activate the plugin. But still you can't directly use it in the production level because we have to look for security. For better understanding, I have removed the security features like sanitize, nonce in WordPress, and removed all. So I have made it very clear for the people to follow my tutorial and understand how we can customize this archive fm product.php. Now enough with the intro, let's directly jump into the code now. For the first and foremost thing, I just wanted to show you I have added all the products. So this filter will only work when you have a product with the particular custom field set. Now I have imported the product, I have added the product, and now you'll see I have added the custom fields as well. That's only when your filter will work, that's only when your card will work. So that's with the products. Let's get into the plugins folder. Let me just zoom in, Control 0. And now let me deactivate my current plugin so that we can start from scratch. Now what we need is, we need to create a new file, and that file should be inside your plugins folder. And let's just name it as, let's say, we can give any name, furniture is already taken, and let's say filter. Just filter. Now in the filter, I want to create a new file, and that file should be same name as your folder name. So it's recommended filter.php. I want to give information about the plugin. So we want to give name, description, version number, and the author. So to do that, we need to give PHP comment. So here, so let's just say UiMonk Shop Filter, and this is the information, description, and this is the version number. Now if you save it and try refreshing it, you will find your plugin and the list. So here you have given what the name you have given as UiMonk Shop Filter. As of now I am not activating it, but that's the first step. And the second step is, if I refresh the page, the custom field will go away. Now we want the custom field to have here. So to have here, what we need to do is, we need to call a function, and that's not a function, that's a hook, that's called metaboxes. And this is the handle for the WordPress, so that WordPress can take care of it. And this is the information that you want to see over here, and this is the relevant function. This will render the HTML, and we want the meta box to show on the post type product. So you can see that's my product, and it should be on the left side. If you want it on the right side, you need to type aside, and you can visit the documentation for more. Usually it's normal, so that we can see just below the post type. If you want it on the sidebar, it's aside. Now I want the priority to be high, so that's the reason why you will get this meta box right after your product description. And let's just use the HTML. So let's just render the HTML with this function. And now, since it's only the input field, I'm using an array. So you can see this is an array that holds the age group, the material, the color, the assembled, the length, the width, and height. And since it's an array, first let's understand what if there is no array. If there is no array, then we have to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. We need to create 8 input field, so that in that way our code becomes so lengthy. That's the reason I have saved it into array, and I'm looping it with the array. So usually you will find 8 input field with the name. So these are the name attribute. So you'll find in the name attribute I have added the key. So this is key and this is value. So this is key that is being set, and whatever type, it will be on the value. So this is enough to make your, let's make sure our plugin is active first, and that is enough to make your meta box show on the post type product. So you see 8 times it got rendered with just changing the key. The second thing is, what happens when someone clicks on save. And before that, we have already used get post meta, I want to understand, I want you to let you understand that all the information about the post will get stored into the table called WP post meta. And to update and to save, we have two functions. To update post meta, we have to update WP post meta table, we have update post meta. And to retrieve and save information on WP post meta, we have a function called get post meta. So we have used the get post meta. So when on page refresh, I want to get the value saved and displayed. So that's why here I have mentioned value for this key. Now the second thing is, what happens when someone saves? When someone saves, we have a hook called save post product, and this is for WooCommerce, that's why it's product. Now similarly, I'm going to save all those values which is on the input field. I'm going to retrieve the value. Since these values are in the input field and these are the form, to access these input field value, we have a post variable. So I'm using post variable to get the key. So this key, and I'm updating it to the WP post meta with the key value pair. What is the key? So these are the keys, and values will be the field that you will pass on this input field, which is on this particular page. Now these are the keys which hold all your values. So I'm emphasizing it again, because when we will be beautifying the WooCommerce card, these keys are required. That is only when we will be fetching these value and displaying it in the card. Once you understand this, the card beautification of card becomes very easy. So this is the core concept. Cool. Now what we need is, now we need to customize our shop page. As of now, this is how it looks. It is the WooCommerce archive product page. I want WordPress to understand, instead of loading WooCommerce archive product page, I want WordPress to load my archive page. So to load my archive page, what I'll do is, I'll create a new archive page, and it would be inside templates folder, and inside templates folder I want to create a new file, and that file name is archive-product.php. Now over here, I want to say to the WordPress, whenever WooCommerce looks for archive-product.php, instead of loading WooCommerce archive.php, load my templates archive.php. So there we have a hook. So that is template include. So over here we have a template include, and I'm saying whenever WordPress loads for archive-product.php, instead of WooCommerce, load my file which is in templates folder and archive.php, and this is the path to my plugin. And that's it. Once your plugin is active, and if you refresh the page, since your archive.php is archive-product.php is blank, this is how it will show, and whatever you write here will be displayed over here. That's enough. Now usually what should happen in the archive page? In the archive page, there should be all the list of products. So let's just use the header and footer first. Usually there should be an header and footer. That's only you will see the style, and with this you will see your header in action. Cool. Now we'll fetch all the products. So that's the query that I'm passing. Fetch all products I want for page 4, and this is for the pagination. I'll explain when the time comes, and if there is any meta query, just use it. So meta query is there. I'll show you what meta query is. Let's just fetch all the values first and display it. So let's just close the PHP. First and foremost thing, we need filters. So let's see the filter in action. And your CSS won't work as of now. So to make the CSS work, let's create a CSS folder, and we'll call it as assets. Inside assets, we'll have filter.css and JS, filter.js. the CSS. Now we need to link our CSS with our plugin so that WordPress know which file to load. So over here I'm saying to the WordPress I have a file called assets, folder called assets. Inside folder I have a filter.css. Also there is a JavaScript. I have mentioned the location as well. So before loading JavaScript, I want WordPress to load jQuery first, and then the select combo box, and then my JS. And so this select is nothing but you have seen the searchable drop down. So that searchable drop down is only possible because of this. So WordPress internally has it. So we are saying that when our plugin is active, just use the CSS and JavaScript of the select, and WordPress will take care of it. So with this function enqueue style and enqueue script, passing the select to WordPress will take care of it, and that's literally it. You will see the CSS in action. You see the CSS is there. Now this is not working. I'll show you why. Let's just not focus on this now. Now what I need, I want a list of products. Let's show the list of products now, and we will already use the query. So with this query we would have received some products. So let's display that products. Let me just refresh and show you. So over here I have a query. So if the query have post, then get into the loop. Yes. And when there is a post, let's just talk about one individual product now. So in this one individual product, I'm fetching all the values. As I have already said, we have eight input field, and I have used those 8 input field key. So these are keys. So you might have seen when updating the value over here. So this is the key that I am passing it, accessing it individually. So we can since these are available on different table, we have to use our product ID to reference it. So this is product ID, and this is the relevant key. This is the product ID, relevant key, product ID, relevant key. Likewise, I have stored all these value, whichever is required, and that's simply it. So now we just need to display it over here. Now we want the thumbnail. So this is the featured image that got displayed, and then I'm just fetching these stored variable value and displaying it over here. So these are values from the custom field again. So again, these are the dimension value from the custom field, and finally the price. So that's literally it. Once you understand how the data is getting saved in WP Post Meta, how we can access the value from WP Post Meta, the purification of cart becomes very easy. And let's just focus on this filter now. I want to select some values. Let's say there is something called senior, and if I click on filter, when I click on filter, those values will get appended on the URL. The reason is it's appended on the URL so that when the page loads, I want the selected filter to display it over here. Usually what happens is when page loads, everything gets disappear. So it will come into the default state. If you understand, it will come into its default state. It will come into it's literally how it's going to look like age group, material, and SML. Because we have selected the age group adult, we know that I have selected adult and clicked on apply, but on the second page it will not show as you have selected adult. So to make that happen, what I did is, this is the usual PHP flow which everyone does. So you need to click on apply, and whatever values you have selected will get appended on the query string. Over here I'll show you when it comes. It will be appended the query string, and I have to fetch these value and display it over here. And it will only get displayed when these two values match. It's suppose in the query string there is adult and you have an adult here, then that becomes true and your adult will show up. Now let me just show you how to access data from query string now. So now query string is nothing but the list of keys. So these are the key input field value. So if you see in the form, you will have name attribute. So this name attribute, you'll find it over here. Again, for the second input field, this name attribute, you'll find it over here. So this is name attribute, and I'm storing these value into the name attribute, and this is what I want you to understand. So this is an array, it has the keys. Now if these key matches with these value, then it would get true and the value would be displayed. Now if you'll see, if I click on adult and click on filter, in the query string there is adult. So this adult matches with this drop down and that become true and the adults show up. So that's the use of selected WordPress helper function. So this, or else we would have to create a function and we have to compare the value with the query string with the value with the option tag and add the select manually. So now if you see in the code, you will find the value called selected on the option tag. So you can see selected. So this, if this becomes true, the selected function will output this value. I hope I have made it clear. If that doesn't make sense, just rewatch it again. Now that's the use of query string. Now if I click on apply, nothing seems to be get filtered. So you can see the senior also shows up. So in this case, the filter is working fine, but we want to pass the value to the WooCommerce query, WordPress query. So how are we going to do that? So we have to pass this to a query so that WordPress understands, okay, I want to display only the adult, only the senior, not the whole thing. So that in that case, there comes the condition. So what is the condition? This condition are based on the meta fields, right? So whenever there is a condition based on meta field, we have to send the query to the WordPress. When we send the query to the WordPress has to understand that this is coming from meta field. So one such way is meta query. Whenever you pass some values to the meta query, WordPress understands that, okay, these filter value are coming from meta field. Now we have to access this value. So let's just access the value and modify it to the code. Now we have accessed the value. Yes, we have accessed the value. The second thing is we want to pass the accessed value to the meta query so WordPress can understand and WordPress can filter. So as I have already shown, meta query is nothing but is the meta fields. Meta fields actually stored into a different table. Now WordPress has to understand meta field and WordPress has to link the post meta table with post table. And now you will see sorry for that, I'm passing the argument with the key meta query. You can see meta query, and over here I want to match if this value exists. So these are keys over here. These are keys and these are value which we will retrieve from the GET request. So once it's saved and once if it find that there is a key, then what happens is it will be passed to the WP query and only the relevant query will run. Now if you see, I have clicked adult. So now only the data related to adult show up. Let's say similarly for senior, click on apply, only the data related to senior will show up. So that's possible only because of this meta query. And also we need separate function for price because we want them to compare in a numeric way. That's first thing, and the second thing is the price should be less than or equal to that comparison is required. That's why I have written separate meta query, or else it will also get appended to over here. Cool. That's simply it. And if you want, you can just click on reset. Let's work on the pagination. Pagination is very simple. We just need to focus on one function. We have already seen this multiple times, and then just quickly go through it. So we want to use the paginate link, and we have to pass these values, and these are static value. So for the design purpose, we want these three attributes. So the type should be list. It's not working, I'll show you why. Type is list and the previous and after. Now it's asking for preserve arcs. Why preserve arcs? Whenever I click on some value and click on apply, WordPress will forget the pagination WordPress will forget what to page it. So now WordPress expects the preserve argument, which is from the URL. Whatever value you have set here, that has to be stored into the preserve arcs, and we have to pass it to the add arcs. Now it's we need to create an array just as we have created for filter, and in this array what we have to do is we have to just fetch whatever the query strings are there. So query strings is nothing but the values like this is one key, this is one key, this is one key, and this is one key. Those key has to be saved on the preserve arcs. Then WordPress will automatically take care of it. That's one thing. The second thing is WordPress has to know currently you are in which page. So for that I'll be using this paged. So you can see I have used the page already here. So let me just quickly explain you. Whenever you load an archive page, WordPress already runs its own query at the backend. When that query runs, there are hundreds of parameters that gets fetched along with the query. We don't want those hundreds of parameters, we just want only one parameter from it. So for that we will use the function called get query variable, get query where. So this is a function out of 100 variable. I just need only one variable. So I'm using this function to pick only one variable. So that one variable is paged. So what this page does is it will let you know you are in currently which page. So you may have many values. I just need only one. So I just need to know which page I'm in. So I'll use this value and fetch the value, and that's how I need to pass it to the page variable as well. And that's literally it. That is what you need to understand. And these are just for the placeholder part, we have to keep it. And that's literally it. You have your whole working filter plugin, and that's literally it. Thank you so much for listening. Meet you tomorrow with another WooCommerce filter.